Hi friends, I'm Olga Koelsch and welcome to my studio. Today I prepared a lesson of painting a wonderful bouquet of red carnation flowers, and I hope that would be a great idea for gifts for Mother's Day, for example, or just for trying something new. It would be very easy, very relaxing, and I hope you will enjoy the process. So let's start. For painting this carnation bouquet, I will use Windsor red. Of course, you could use any red colors or pink colors you like, you have in your palette. I start with the tip of the brush. When I apply a little bit of pressure to the belly of the brush, I'm coming back to the central point. Sometimes it's handy to go from top to bottom. I slightly touch the paper now to create this fluffiness idea of carnation. We are not going to paint each and every petal. We paint this whole massive of petals. So let's add a little bit of green leaf. I use Perlin green. It's a dark, beautiful color, and I love how it mixes with reds. So with the tip of the brush, I mix spots of dark green and reds. I prefer to use a second brush for greens, a little bit smaller brush. With the tip of the brush, I paint the ovary area and the stem. I'm just mapping out the stem. Now I washed my brush and I'm lifting some dark red color to add a little bit of volume into the flowers. And let's repeat. We have a bouquet, we have plenty things to repeat. So sometimes it's not really handy to paint like this. You could better if you paint like I'm painting now, from top to bottom, but of course you could tone the paper as well. Now for this flower I added a little bit of black onto the red color for the variety and to make a little bit of depth. And this bud will be a little bit tilted on us. So I thinking a little bit about perspective when I'm painting it. Now the ovary area and just mapping out the stem. Now let's paint the third one. Just find a nice place. I put my brush flat on the paper. My paper has very tiny little structure, so that helps to create this fluffiness idea. And I paint in the same way, but I try to leave a little bit of white areas in between. It's very important then when you have a little bit of white spots here and there. It adds a lot of light and shine into your work. I always try to change the direction of my brush. And now I'm lifting the color. Now when I could better imagine the bouquet, I could add more and more and more flowers around. Another one, a little bit smaller. So I'm not painting petals. I'm mostly just applying brush strokes. And with these brush strokes, I'm just shaping the future flower. And always nice to add some green while the paper is still wet, and let's add some leaves. Also very gentle, very soft brush strokes. Now let's paint another one. Let me find a nice place. Not easy. So I'm using the same technique. I keep my brush sometimes very flat towards the surface of the paper, and sometimes I paint just with the tip of the brush, and sometimes both. And I always leave white areas in between. Everything is very spontaneous, very loose, and I'm pretty sure yours bouquets will be absolutely different from mine, even if you follow step by step, and that's the beauty with watercolor. More red. While the paper is still wet, it's nice to add some accents, some behind petals. And now let's paint one more. Sometimes I'm hardly touching the paper, sometimes I apply very bold brush strokes. The more variety you have with your brush strokes, the more you are dancing with your brush, the more unique and interesting flowers you will get. Now green color. It's very super very handy to use two brushes. Those who are quite long with me probably noticed already that I always try to use two, sometimes three brushes for one painting. More and more flowers. It all depends on your reference, on your idea. You could paint just a single flower and it would be also super totally cool, minimalistic in a way, and great for a card, for example, for Mother's Day card. Or you could paint a bouquet like we are doing now. Simply brush strokes, but a little bit organized to create the bud. I add some shades with my Berlin green color. I love this color. It's such it gives very nice mixes, and it's very pleasant green color. Now I'm lifting some dark color just with a clean brush. More stems. Of course, you could, for example, paint just buds and then put everything on the stem, but in this case I feel it's nice to build up the bouquet, how it goes. A little bit flat brush strokes, green in the center, and darker red, some ovary area. You will notice I try to avoid paint stamps in one bold line. I do some space in between. That what makes it all very, very light, very crispy. Now let's add some green leaves. And ovaries area, you could bold them a little bit. That's very specific for carnation. For leaves, I just use narrow brush strokes. I'm starting with tip of the brush, apply a little bit of pressure to the body and then let it go. And now you could have a look for the balance. I think I could add a little bit of small buds. And yes, small leaves, usually carnation leaves, they are very thin and long. Try to avoid super long, bold brush strokes. Apply more pressure, less pressure, and add some background, idea of a background flowers which are not in our focus, but we still could see them. They create the volume of our bouquet. Just add details until the point when you think maybe it's enough, and usually it's the sign that this is enough. Now I'm mixing light blue with it's ultramarine blue. I want to add just small, tiny little details. And it's absolutely fine if you stop before. Always nice to see what could happen if we work a little bit more on that. These ultramarine details, they create some foggy idea about some yellow touches. Very, very, very gentle. But see how just few small little details in other colors, it's yellow, add the depth and the volume. And with the tip of the brush, you could go along the dry areas. It's very important that it is dry, and add I would say zigzag strokes that suddenly create all this multi-layered idea of carnation flowers. If you add a little bit of red on the top of the leaf, it suddenly becomes a bud. Now our carnation bouquet is ready. Thank you so much for painting with me. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Leave me some feedback in comments. What would you like to paint next? I read each and every of your suggestions and comments, and I appreciate your great support. See you next time. Bye bye.